Welcome to Truth by Billie Beene. I have a subscribe button in the lower right corner of my screen. Thanks for like, subscribe, and share, and for hitting the like button. That helps my channel to grow. This is a flash update, August 6, 2025. Time in Texas about 1 p.m. So we've just learned within the past hour that 5 soldiers have been wounded at Fort Stewart, Georgia. So we had information coming out from Hal Turner that a lockdown was in place. Fort Stewart houses 20,000 troops. It's the infantry brigade of the U.S. military. From WJCL, a local station in Fort Stewart, Georgia, reports 5 U.S. military have been shot and wounded. They've been treated at a local hospital and were going to be transferred to larger hospitals for further treatment, but they did not receive life-threatening injuries. And the 5 that were shot were part of the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Group. One person has been arrested. We don't have any more details on this individual. And when Hal Turner did the first report of a lockdown at Fort Stewart, the report was active shooter on the base. And since then, we've learned 5 U.S. military have been shot and wounded. The CID, the military investigative group, are on site. So that's going on. So we can praise the Lord that none of these U.S. military were killed, but being shot is definitely a serious injury. So that's going on. We have this from David NINO Rodriguez. He interviewed 107, who believes that the Dem political party will be gone by 2028. And we are seeing an increase in investigations, subpoenas, and so forth. I believe a Dem, Adam Schiff, is now under investigation by the DOJ for mortgage fraud, and other subpoenas, as I put out in my previous video, have gone out to some biggies. And we have this. HRC is likely to be arrested 3 days before Halloween. So that's coming up. HRC equals the Russiagate hoax. We know that's she instigated that and paid for it, but her big crime will be linked to some of this information coming out from Epstein that has to do with pedo torture, plus much more than that. And that Obama, we may also see an arrest for Obama tied to the presidential election and 2020 coup, and that a president only has immunity for his term or her term in office, not for other crimes committed after that. So that's going on. And we have this. It's expected with these Dem arrests, there will be some civil unrest. I'm sure Soros will roll out the money to pay for protesters and so on. Now we have this inside Texas. So the Texas legislature wanted to have a vote on redistricting, which is routine for all states. after a census comes out and you know which populations are where, then you redistrict. The Dems don't want to participate in the vote, and the vote in the Texas legislature requires a certain quorum to be present. I mean, they can vote against it, but they have to be present and vote. And the Dems don't want to vote for the redistricting because the Dems would lose 5 seats. So the Texas Dems left the state of Texas. So now the Texas governor, Abbott, has had the AG, Ken Paxton, put out arrest warrants for the Dems and has asked the FBI to arrest the Texas Dems that have left the state if they don't return by Friday. Abbott has asked the FBI to locate the Dems and arrest them if they haven't returned by Friday. So game on. And now we have this. So today, President Trump's envoy, Witkoff, met with President Putin. It's reported the meeting did not go well. It lasted for 3 hours. And immediately after the meeting concluded and Witkoff had left or was en route back to the U.S., immediately after that, President Trump put out executive orders increasing tariffs. I mean, that had been what he said he would do. Secondary sanctions against nations buying Russian oil. So immediately after Witkoff left Russia, President Trump did an executive order increasing India's tariffs to 50%, plus an additional 25% for buying Russian oil. And the Secretary of the Commerce Department is to identify the countries that are buying Russian oil. So this means that President Trump will put tariffs on these nations. The initial tariff he had negotiated with the nation, plus an additional tariff for buying Russian oil. So that's going on. And we have this. InfoWars reports the FBI, the CIA, and other U.S. intel organizations, agencies, and the U.S. government prep for imminent ET disclosure to the American people. This concludes my flash. I love you, and I'll see you soon.